Hey everybody, welcome to this Channel Vision Magazine webinar featuring our good friends at TELCLOUD. Today our focus is going to be on expanding your telecommunications business with POTS line replacement, which is a huge thing today. So I'm your moderator, Brady Hicks, the manager for Channel Vision Magazine. Joining us today is your host. He is the CEO of TELCLOUD. His name, Jake Jacoby. How you doing, Jake?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. There you go. Got your camera looking good. We also have the director of sales enablement, Hannah Kennedy. She's in the bullpen, going to be helping field questions later on. And speaking of questions, I want to remind everybody that this webinar is designed to be interactive. So if you have any questions, you can go to the Q&A icon there at the bottom of the page, and we will field those questions after this entire presentation is over. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to you, Jake.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. My name is Jake Jacoby. I'm the CEO and founder of TELCLOUD. And today we're going to be talking to you about this opportunity in POTS line replacement and the opportunity for you as a reseller to bring these services to your customers and the ability to create massive recurring revenue for your organization. So that said, TELCLOUD, a couple things about TELCLOUD. So first, we are what we call a communication platform as a service. So what that means is that we are the back-end infrastructure and platform that enables reseller partners to bring POTS line replacement services to their customers. A couple things to understand about that. One, TELCLOUD never sells direct. We are 100% committed to the channel. We are 100% committed to our channel partners. We have 175 different channel partners today that put their own brand on our solution and bring it to market, from very small MSPs and all the way up to very large telecommunication and carriers use our platform. So we've been around for a few years. I personally have been in this industry about 8+ years. I have a background in software as a service and solutions, scalable solutions. And so we bring, along with my team, decades of wireless, SaaS, communication, in this technology to bear to help you as a reseller to go out and address this market. So second thing, the next thing you want to kind of understand is everything that we do is wholesale, right? So it's meant to be white labeled, your brand on it, to support you 100%, make sure that you have the best technology to bring that to your customers to solve the problems that they need, and build in this margin that allows TELCLOUD to offer the services at a very low wholesale cost, you to make a significant margin, and the customers to still get the best solution out there at a very competitive rate, right? So it's an ecosystem that works well for the channel. We're your partner on the back end. You bring the service with your own spin on it. We'll talk about that. And then you bring it to your customers. So POTS line replacement has really been, we'll talk a little bit about the industry, but this year, 2025, is really a pivotal year. Back in 2019, the FCC deregulated, POTS lines, and POTS, again, for all of you, it stands for plain old telephone service. So that copper infrastructure that the world has been running on telecommunication-wise for the last 100 years, that is finally going away. And so we'll talk about that. But in the United States, there's about 130 million of these lines left. About 30 million of them are in the commercial space, which we want to focus on. But there's 100 million in the residential space. But a good majority of those are going to be converted finally this year. And we'll talk about some of the factors on why that is happening. So first of all, I mentioned briefly, it's deregulated in 2019. Carriers went to, or earlier than that, carriers went to the FCC and said, hey, look, we no longer want to maintain or invest in copper infrastructure, right? The world is moving to fiber and wireless. And so we need a path forward to be able to end of life this copper infrastructure. So because it was a utility and regulated, that wasn't possible. So they had to create a path. And finally, in 2019, it was the FCC allowed it to be deregulated, which means that the price could change. Therefore, what used to be $20, $30 for a POTS line can now be priced at whatever the carrier wants to. So we've seen prices, again, skyrocketing here to hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars. Out here in California, we've seen $1,500, $2,000 POTS lines. It's insane. So there's pressure in the market, and so the carriers are basically charging what they want for it. And why they're doing this is they're trying to cover the cost of that infrastructure. So if you think of the infrastructure in the past was 100% all on copper, now it's maybe 5 to 10% of that. Well, there's still maintaining that infrastructure is costly, so you have to charge more in order to just cover the cost. And eventually, once that dips below, carrier is going to turn these lines off, right? So on the regulatory side, there's pressures in the market because a lot of these lines are used for life safety, right? So life safety means fire panels, elevators, blue light emergency phones, things like that are regulated, that organizations need to have these old copper lines to work with their old legacy equipment, right? So a legacy equipment like a fire system in a commercial building required that old copper line, and it's very expensive to turn that into a wireless or a something that supports fiber or things of the future. So there's an opportunity there, and that's driving pressure as well. And then so all of these legacy systems, a lot of them are even fax infrastructure. We see a lot of POTS lines in healthcare because for HIPAA regulations, it's very easy to put a fax machine behind a locked door and be able to be HIPAA compliant. And then there's a lot of infrastructure there. So again, legacy systems, infrastructure, but businesses really, are still holding on to these last 30 million lines. But eventually, I mean, the price has gone up. They're eventually going to go away. And we only have a short time, a couple of years, in order to get all of these converted. So for you as a reseller, a potential reseller that can, there's a massive opportunity to create recurring revenue for your organization by solving these problems in partnership with TELCLOUD, with your brand going out and helping your customers. The other thing is, just because the POTS line is going away or these copper lines are going away, that doesn't mean that the service needed is going away. So by converting to a POTS line replacement solution, which we'll talk about in a minute, you have a very long tail of recurring revenue that you can generate for your organization, sometimes 15, 20 years, right, of monthly payments and services that you can offer your customers. Again, this isn't a problem just in the United States. It's actually a global problem. We talked about 130 million lines in the United States. There's over 1 billion lines globally that have this problem. So TELCLOUD is currently in the US, Canada, Mexico. We're now in Europe, in UK, in serving needs globally with different carrier partners or managed service providers. So again, the pressure on this in the market is FCC shutdown, the mandates. Really, it's the price has gone through the roof. These are still required lines, so things like fire. So again, when we look at this, I want you to think about your customers that potentially have buildings that have that have elevators, right? Things like this, that maybe have fax machines, but every commercial building in the United States has a fire system. That fire system requires 2 copper lines. So those are all kind of opportunities that you can go and talk to your customers about. Hey, what are you doing about this? Have you made a shift? Open the door for easy conversations with your customer. Cost of maintenance, price hikes, again, financial burden. These are all things that are driving this market, and these are all things that you can bring up with customers to identify opportunities. Regulatory compliance. For instance, we talked about the fire panels, but we also talked about fax machines and HIPAA compliance, PCI compliance, right? So credit card terminals, things like that. There's still some modems out there as well that rely on these copper lines. And then operational risks, right? So what happens when these lines go down, right? What does that do to your customers' businesses, right? If they have these old credit card machines that or terminals that still operating on a dial-up, right, and haven't moved to some type of wireless solution, well, it's potentially a loss of money, right? Or lines going down and the elevator can't be used, or there's very high fines if that elevator line doesn't work. And not only the fines, it's a life safety issue, right? God forbid somebody stuck in an elevator goes to push the button and the phone doesn't work. And now we've got an emergency and no way to communicate outwards. Again, fire, elevator, things like this, all conversations you can have with customers. And again, there's really no upgrade path. These carriers are investing in fiber. They're rightly so investing in 5G and then next generation wireless. But today you see this, COVID really pushed everything back. We started in like the 2019, but because of COVID, they paused the shutdown, right? And so what's happened is the prices have continued to increase, and we have less and less time in order to actually convert these. And again, the carriers are investing in 5G and wireless, paths like that. So with TELCLOUD, what we're here to do is to partner with you as a reseller partner. Again, we sell to you wholesale, put your name and your brand on it. We integrate the pieces that you're good at, and we cover for the pieces that you may not have, right? If you have connectivity, you can bring that. We'll talk about these different things. If you have a PBX, if you're selling UCast, you can bring that. TELCLOUD's the only solution out there that is set up this way, right? We don't just sell boxes. We actually sell a solution and make sure that you are code compliant, you have the right solution, it works for your business, you can make money at it, and provide a good, reliable 5 nines of uptime service to your end customer. So when we talk about these applications that use POTS lines, it's all of these on the screen here, right? So we talked about fire alarms, elevators, fax. There's all the things like pool phones, physical security, out-of-band management, meter reading, SCADA applications. Again, you don't have to know the nuance of all of these, but these are ways that you can have conversations with your customers. Really, it's really just a matter of asking the question to your customers, do you sell POTS lines? How much are they costing, right? How much do they cost you? Are you having problems with them? Would you be open to having us look at it and see if we can bring a solution to you that might save you money and solve these problems, right? So again, all of these type of applications are here and available for you to provide service, one, but also have conversations with your customers. When we look at our resellers and the industries that they're really resonating with and going after, again, these are just the top ones. But if you look at healthcare, again, a lot of faxing in healthcare, government, anything with a commercial building, education, school systems, retail, again, security systems, any retail location, manufacturing, finance. But again, remember, POTS lines have covered all telecommunications for really all businesses, right? So no matter the business, there's most likely some type of POTS line that is, out there being used and that could be replaced or your customer's going to need help with. So again, like I said, driving it home, just, really try to have those conversations with your customers, and you'll be surprised at how many opportunities there really are. And honestly, the way that TELCLOUD is set up, right? There's no one organization that is going to be able to solve this problem. So when I founded this company, I dedicated our company to building the best technology and enabling our partners to go out and help their customers. Your customers want to do business with you. They're already asking you for things. They're buying things from you. They're buying services. They trust you. You're a trusted partner. So investigate in TELCLOUD, see how we can be your trusted partner to be able to go out, bring the solution together, and solve those needs for your customers. So let's see, next slide. Again, TELCLOUD, like I said, we have 175 different reseller partners. We have very large carrier partners. We have MSPs, again, globally. The nice thing about TELCLOUD is it is a complete solution, right? You can go as far, we'll show you in a second. You can simply engage with us, get a little bit of education around, how to take this to market and be up and running very fast, like within a week, put your brand on it and go start selling it. Now, we can go even deeper than that. If you are a UCaaS provider or you are a connectivity provider or you sell routers like Cradlepoints, Peplinks, InHand, Teltonica, things like that, and you're going to market already providing wireless connectivity, wireless solutions, even better, we can integrate and we can work with you. But the thing about TELCLOUD is that it's very flexible and we customize it to your business to make sure it's working for your business. Just a little dive in the technology side. In order to provide POTS line replacement, we do need on-premise customer equipment, right? This equipment here's a diagram of what it looks like, and I'll go over it in a second, but it talks to our cloud infrastructure, and that's how we deliver the service. So a few nuances about this. One, you've got a telco enclosure. The enclosure is not mandatory, but it's a nice to have because it keeps everything clean, tight, secure, right? Everything fits inside of this enclosure very nicely. The second piece is our POTScast box. That's really the brain of this entire solution, right? So it does the copper to digital transformation, and it allows us to provide those phone lines back through our infrastructure. Some of it is voice over IP, some of it is IP based and proprietary. We have alarm licenses so that we're a license to transmit alarm signals. That's very important. We're code compliant. Everything that we have here has the right certifications to deliver the services. We transmit signals to our UL listed data centers, and then we make sure that those signals get out to the appropriate central alarm stations or destinations that they need. Whether it's faxing, modem, alarm, all of these solutions happen within this POTScast box. Now that POTScast box also needs connectivity. So what we're showing here is that, before I do that, we also have a battery. So our POTScast box has an internal battery. We'll talk about why that's important. We also have the ability to extend that battery. So a typical battery is 24 hours. We can extend it to 48 hours for emergency purposes. But the key to that is that we provide the power to the next piece, which is the cellular router. So the cellular router, what we're showing here is that we have options. We have a 4G option or we have a 5G option, and that can sit in the enclosure or it can sit outside of the enclosure. The nice thing about this solution, as opposed to an all-in-one box solution that has a cellular router inside, is that it gives you the flexibility to have a successful install the first time, every time. Many of the times when you install this solution, it's going in the telecommunications room of the customer's location. That telecommunications room doesn't always have the best signal. So if you have a one-box solution, what are your options? You either have to extend antennas to get signal into this or to go grab the signal, or you have to bring signal into the room. Both labor-intensive, costly, and not necessarily easy to do in a short amount of time. With our solution, you can, if the signal's in the room, fine, you can install it there and you're done. If not, you can simply extend the router with Cat 6 up to 250 feet away and put the router where the signal is, either inside or outdoors. Very elegant solution, very easy to implement, 30-minute install, works every time, and it's just a great way to kind of go to market with this. Now, the other thing is we're router agnostic. So we've partnered with some of the biggest router companies in the world. Ericsson is one of our partners, and we use and have approved and integrated all of Ericsson's routers. But if you are a Peplink fan or you like InHand routers or Teltonica or Digi, right? Any of those are also integrated into our platform, right? So it's really a bring your own router and bring your own connectivity, or you can get those solutions directly from TELCLOUD. We'll source them for you. We'll put this together. We have 3PL services, third-party logistics, where we'll kit all of this, manage it for you, and actually go out and install it and service it for you. Or you can do parts of that yourself. Really, TELCLOUD's the only one out there that is really flexible in this and make sure that we make sure that it works for your business. Ease of implementation, right? So now it may sound complicated what I just talked about with the equipment and the installation, things like that. The nice thing about it is if you don't want to go into all that, TELCLOUD can help you with it, right? We have experts that will do the provisioning, do the installation, do the technical support, all with your brand and name on it. And it's very easy to get up and running with TELCLOUD. Simply contact us. We'll go through a little Q&A to make sure that we fine tune this for your business. Do you need everything from us? Do you just need part of it? Are you a Ericsson partner? Do you need, what router do you want? Are you a Verizon partner? Are you going to bring that Verizon connectivity or some other carrier? We'll work with you on that to make sure that we size it right, and then we help you take it to market. So very easy to kind of get started with TELCLOUD and make sure that we have all the different components to make your business a success. Now, when I say all that support, right, this is what we mean. And this is why we call it not just a box, it's a communication platform as a service. So what that means, it's integration into the hardware, the compliant hardware, routers, telco, 911, billing platform. So nuance of this is that if you're not a registered telco, you really can't sell these type of services to your end customer. You have to be, tax compliant and code compliant. You have to have a billing engine that can calculate it, and then you have to be registered with FCC. So if you don't have that ability, don't worry. TELCLOUD has solutions that will support you and can do that billing for you and be that registered telco. Or if you already are, we can just enable you on your UCaaS platform to bring this to market. But we have support, installation, project management, order fulfillment. Really, this is a business in a box, and you can pick and choose the parts that you need. You want to fine tune it to your business and make sure that it's going to work for you. Next, we talked about asking the questions to your customers. We also have collateral, right? Already done for you, white labeled. You simply add your logo, customize it if you want. We have a Canva account where you can download this. You can customize anything you want, change the colors, change the brand, but the message is already there. So you don't have to go reinvent this. We already know what works. We already know the messaging. We have examples of go-to-market and how to sell this. We have contracts ready for you. It's really everything that you need in order to be successful and go to market with our business. Now, the channel reseller model. If you look, there's three kind of components here. One, what does TELCLOUD do? We provide the hardware, the licensing. It's all white labeled. We have all the security and alarm technology that you need in order to make sure that this is going to work every single time. You're not going to have problems. You're not going to have VoIP calls going down. Sometimes they get there, sometimes they don't. It's going to work 100% of the time with 99.59s of uptime. Plus, you have tier 3 support. In the middle, you have optional services. Do you need a PBX, or would you like to use ours? Do you need telco? Do you want to bring your own telco or use ours? Cellular routers, connectivity, tax compliance, tier 2, tier 3. You can make more margin if you provide some of these services yourself, but there's still plenty of margin even if you have TELCLOUD do all of it for you. And again, at the end of it, it's your brand, your customers, and you provide the tier 1 and tier 1 support to your customers, and then help educate them and find those opportunities. Again, to sum it all up, TELCLOUD is a powerful all-in-one solution, right? From as little as a platform and a licensing to do everything for you and put your brand on it. You can get up and running with TELCLOUD very easily, very quickly. And we are, again, powering 175 of the largest resellers out there in this space. We would love to help you help your customers, right? So we'd love to talk to you. Please engage with us and reach out to us and see how we might be able to help you and understand. We'll talk to you and understand better the industry that you're going after, the vertical you're going after, and how we might be able to partner with you and make this work together. So again, my name is Jake Jacoby. I'm the CEO of TELCLOUD. I really appreciate the time listening to us and hearing about TELCLOUD. We'd love to speak to each and every one of you. You can reach us at telcloud.com. That's my cell phone number. If you want to reach out, you can reach out to me directly. I also have jakescal.com, or you can reach me at jake@telcloud.com. And thank you very much. We're going to open it up for Q&A now.
Oh, of course. Very, very good stuff, Jake. Thank you for that. Let me remind everybody again that if you want to contribute to the discussion here today, just click on the Q&A tab there at the bottom of the screen. If it's all right, kind of jump right in. You mentioned during the presentation some of the benefits of being an early adopter. I thought this was funny. At what point is it no longer considered early?
That's a good question. So, I mean, it seems like, so I've been in this industry for a while, so we thought that things would happen a little bit quicker than they did. And then, COVID happened to the world and everything got pushed back. I think that it's not necessarily early, but now is exactly the right time. Like I said, 2025, a good majority of these 130 million lines in the United States itself are going to be converted. And honestly, there's not enough providers out there right now to meet that demand. So we need more resellers. We need more organizations that are going to be educated on this solution, that are going to partner with TELCLOUD, that are going to be able to bring this solution to their customers, because the customers have a big need. And really, there's no one company that's going to be able to take the lion's share of that, right? So it's going to take an army in order to do this conversion over the next couple of years. But like I said, the nice thing is that once you have that conversion done, the recurring revenue on this is a 10 to 20 year recurring revenue. So very profitable for you as an organization.
All right. Kind of along the same lines there, Jake. So what makes 2025 kind of the right time to add a POTS line replacement solution to your business?
Yeah. Great question. I think that, like I said, I think it's the next 3 to 5 years, right? Again, just putting it out there, guessing, I would say 20 to 30% of like what's left is going to happen this year. So we have a lot of organizations that are, seeing this. They're talking to their customers. Even organizations that are already servicing their customers and haven't asked the question. As soon as we ask them to, like we talked about today, go talk to your customers. Ask them if they have problems with any of these lines. What do their telecommunication bills look like? I think if you simply ask the question, you'll be surprised to find how many of your customers really have this pain and how easily you can solve it for them, right? So that's the opportunity. And honestly, if you don't, somebody else is going to ask your customer and they're going to solve that problem for them. And ultimately, your customer doesn't want, 100 different vendors. They already trust you. And if you can provide a service like this, most likely they are going to engage you and buy this from you. So it's really a matter of getting out there and just asking the questions as soon as possible, because this conversion is happening over the next 2 to 3 years.
All right. That makes a lot of sense. This person wants to know if you could talk more about compliance. And they mentioned specifically, like if we're billing to the end user directly, doesn't the FCC require us to be a 499 filer?
You do. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So most of it's like it just depends. So some of our customers have the ability to do that. They're already a 499 filer with the FCC, and they have a tax engine. We use Rev.io as a tax engine, or as a billing platform, and then SureTax as a tax engine. So you have to have the ability to track all of your customers, know the addresses, and be able to charge them appropriately for those taxes, collect the taxes, and then remit the taxes. Now, not all resellers out there have that ability. So what we do is we have a billing company called Telco Bill Center, which is call it a bill on behalf of. So it provides billing services and becomes that telco of record. So it's not white labeled, it is co-labeled. So your customer is going to get a bill from Telco Bill Center, right? So we would do that. We would bill for you. Telco Bill Center would be the carrier of record. We would file all the, collect all the taxes, pay all the taxes, keep you code compliant, and then you would receive a rev share on that. So again, there are means to do this and to be code compliant and tax compliant. And we have those solutions for you.
Okay, perfect. Would you be able to share how some of your resellers kind of market these services?
Yeah, so we have a lot of, I'd say we have a good majority of our customers that are in the carrier space, right? So that means they're selling connectivity, and they're already out there selling maybe internet backup, things like that. Again, it's simply in those buildings that they're typically putting these solutions into commercial buildings and simply asking the question of, like I said before, what are you doing for your telecommunication? POTS lines and things like that. We have a lot of resellers in the hospitality space, right? Hospitality is big because you've got phone systems, you've got fire systems, you've got elevators. So just, asking those questions. We have resellers in the education space, right? So again, a lot of campuses, blue light emergency phones, the blue light phones on campus, all POTS lines, right? Opportunities there. So, and then we have a big majority of a big section of our resellers that are in the UCaaS space. So UCaaS is very interesting because you're already providing telecommunications and services to these customers, but those POTS lines for fire and elevator and modem don't really work on VoIP, right? They kind of crash and burn. And so a lot of UCaaS providers just turn them away. Well, now you can go back and you can say, look, we can service all that and we can do it in a code compliant way that's reliable and is 100%, going to work every time. Pick up that recurring revenue and keep that customer all with you. So it kind of depends on your business. We have other organizations that are just sales organizations that are going out there and identifying opportunities and having us do the majority of the work, but creating a brand. So we'd love to have conversations with you to find out more about what you're doing today, who you're talking to, what your opportunities are, and then we'll craft a solution that works for you.
All right. Apologies if I kind of missed this in that answer, but is there any kind of a financial commitment to become a reseller?
So depending on how you come in, so we have different how you come in through our channel. We have some carrier relationships. We have different relationships where as long as you're in that program, there's no minimums. Depending on if you're not in one of those programs, there can be some minimums. We just have to have that discussion with you, find out, what makes sense as far as like the opportunity that you see and what you can bring to your customer. And then one of our channel reps will make sure that works for you.
All right. You also mentioned during the presentation, Jake, about being router agnostic and having seamless integration with legacy systems, all that jazz. Exactly how easy is this process? The person wants to know.
Yeah, so when we talk about the routers that we've integrated, Cradlepoint Ericsson is natively integrated via API into our platform. Peplink, InHand, Teltonica, CSG has a router. Digi has a router, a bunch of the routers. Sierra Wireless. However, if you're working with other routers that aren't integrated into our platform, we can take a look at the opportunity. And we are a software company, so we're happy to do that type of integration. So what that means is that you can bring in status and signal strength and things like that so that your branded portal can show everything to your customer in one pane of glass, or you as an organization can view our NOC and see all of your different routers, even different brands, all together in one place so that you can really manage the business. We have alerts that go out, we have webhooks, we have text message and emails, all to keep your customer in the loop. Again, the nice thing about this next generation POTS line is that you have real insight into what's going on in it. Is the lineup? Is it working? How many calls is it making? Right? In an old legacy POTS line, you really don't even know if it's up or down. You're paying the bill, an expensive bill, and you don't really have any insight. So you get from TELCLOUD and our portal everything that you would expect in a next generation type of service.
Okay, excuse me. So for anybody that's late to the party, a couple more questions left. But let me remind you that you can use the Q&A tab there on the bottom of your screen if you want to ask a question of TELCLOUD. Anyway, this person wants to know how they can effectively kind of pitch POTS replacement solutions to their customers.
So we would love to talk to you in depth about that, right? So there's a couple nuances, like who are your customers? What kind of customers do you have, right? So we could help coach you based on the type of customers that you have, right? For instance, healthcare, there's different questions that we would ask as opposed to commercial real estate or retail. So I would encourage you to reach out to us, telecloud.com, fill out our contact form. We'll have a easy, no obligation consultation with you and find out a little bit more about your business and see if it's a good fit, right? It may or may not be a good fit, but depending on who you're talking to. So we'd love to just have that conversation with you.
Okay, great. So this person wants to know, you were talking about, the resources, supporting resellers. Could you talk specifically a little bit about some of those resources that are available again?
Yes. So we have a lot of experience in this industry. So now it's nuanced too because, again, we white label this information. So we have documentation, one that you can use that you can put your brand on. We have presentations, we have sales sheets, we have sales decks, we have a knowledge base, we have case studies, all of this. Now, again, some of this has to be anonymized because it's, a reseller that's approved it to be used, but they don't want the name out there. But it gives you the collateral to have the conversations with your customers and show that you're immediately credible, right? You immediately, by leveraging the TELCLOUD system and our POTScast brand, you're using solutions that the biggest carriers in the world are using, and you have the ability to bring that to your customer, right? So you're not starting day one. You have collateral, you have expertise, you have tier 3 support 24/7, and you have our sales organization to help you help your customers. Again, that's our goal, right? To help as many organizations help their customers, right? This is it, and that's what the channel is all about, right? Is we do our part. We provide the best technology in the world and we continually improve it. We enable a sales channel to go out there that's going to financially benefit them and bring solutions to their customers. And finally, the customers get a best solution in class at great rates, and everybody wins. As long as that ecosystem stays that way, it's a great business that thrives and everybody wins and everybody, the end customers are very happy and they stay with you for a very long time. That's what TELCLOUD's all about.
All right, cool. Do you offer a telecom billing service?
We do. Yes.
Okay, cool. Let me see here. This person wants to know about cost, like kind of realistic upfront cost, and what would the ROI look like if they maybe were to start right away, say Q1 of 2025?
Yeah, so good question. So cost can be broken down in a couple different ways. There's hardware costs, there's installation costs, and there's service cost. Service costs for our platform and service costs for wireless connectivity. So it could be a mix in your profitability of a line. Let's talk about a line of service to the end customer. Could vary based on those variables, right? Do you finance the equipment or not, right? Do you want to spend money up front? Maybe you make a higher margin, or do you want to finance it? Our service is pretty standard. We do have volume discounts, so you get into 10, 20,000 type of connections, you can get some discounts there. Connectivity, right? Same thing, right? Depends on kind of volume or your contract. So those are all variables on the cost. Then you've got installation, right? Are you going to do the installation or are you going to hire a third party? So all of those factor in, but you've got to general cost of this line, let's call it a base cost. And then you've got an MSRP. These lines typically are sold for $45 to $55 a month. And the margin is anywhere in the $20 to $30 range, right? So these again are ballpark, right? You've got some customers charging a lot more because they have value-added services that they bring. It's not a commodity. It's not just a phone line that they're selling. They're selling an entire solution and providing that. And that's really why, again, it's nuanced in that how do you go to market with your customer? Your customer may be willing to spend more because you're doing more for them, right? So there's really a range in there. But again, even if you're making $10, $20 a line for the next times X number of lines for the next 20 years, very profitable. And the nice thing is, even with that, the customer, like I said, is still getting a great rate, competitive rate, best solution in class, and it's going to work for them long term, which means that they're going to stay with you and you're going to make money for a long term. That make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense for sure. So just one more question on my end. And again, if anybody wants to ask a question, just use the Q&A tab down there on the bottom of the screen. Now, with this question, I know white labeling can make this a little difficult, but do you have any use cases that you can kind of point to for a successful rollout that you guys have had?
We do. So, and again, they're all outlined in our, so Hannah's done a great job of creating content and her team around this. So we have use cases that, you can use for, retail locations, for hospital systems, for, we have several in there that you can leverage. Now, names are, not in there. The brands aren't in there, but that's not really what matters. You can kind of figure out, is this a use case for my healthcare place, for commercial real estate, for education? We have all of this type of content that you can go in, you can put your brand on, and you're not making this up yourself. It's real life solutions that happened that you can leverage and say, look, this technology, you don't necessarily have to say that you did it, but this technology was used and was successful for this use case.
All right, very good. And one last question just kind of came in.
Yep.
They were wondering if you could expand on the Telco Bill Center. He sees specifically that you're affiliated with that company. Does it generate the invoices and collect payments and all that stuff?
Yes, Telco Bill Center is a carrier of record. So that model, again, we can go through it with you, but yeah, that is we are the carrier of record. We do the billing. They have to own the customer. And so there's a little bit different model there to keep our customers code compliant, but the customers can participate in that rev share in order to bring those solutions to their customers.
All right, very good. And that is going to do it for the questions. Great interaction. It seemed like a lot of interest from the people listening. So Jake, Jacoby, I want to say thank you to you for the presentation. Hannah Kennedy, it was nice to meet you. We'll have to talk more in the future. Very good. So anyway, like I said, that's going to do it for the questions. And thank you to both of you for the time here today. Before we go, just a couple quick reminders. I want to let everybody know that by attending this webinar, you're automatically enrolled in the Channel Vision Webinar Rewards program. You may have won one of our monthly drawings. So for information on the program and to see what kind of prizes you may win, visit our website, channelvisionmag.com/webinar-rewards. And remember, you can access this webinar as well as all other Channel Vision presentations on demand by visiting our website at channelvisionmag.com. Also, a real quick reminder that CVX Expo 25 returns now for the fourth year, November 3rd through 5th at a new location. We've signed a new 3-year agreement with Marriott Renaissance Hotel and Spa in Glendale, Arizona. Very exciting stuff there. In addition to the new digs and expanded show floor, CVX Expo will include several newly added elements to make the partner event even more productive and enjoyable. This includes the new AI Demo Cafe, located directly on the Expo Hall. The AI Demo Cafe will feature a neutral and welcoming space for attendees to watch live demos of AI-enabled solutions and technologies presented by CVX Expo exhibitors and sponsors, and also the opportunity to discuss strategy and marketing selling for those events. CVX Expo attendees and exhibitors include independent agents and TSDs, MSPs, resellers, and IT solution providers, trusted advisors and consultants, wholesale communications providers, cloud solution providers, business IT and security providers, and partner enablement service providers. For more information, be sure to visit cvxexpo.com. And Jake, once again, thank you so much for the time here today.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you all for attending. Please reach out to us if you have any questions.
Okay. And from all of us at Channel Vision Magazine, our good friend at TELCLOUD as well, take care. Thanks for coming, and be good to one another.